Hi, good morning. Welcome down to the Devon Koi Pond on an absolutely beautiful bank holiday weekend. Pity we're all locked in with our fish, but then again, who's knocking the weather, eh? Absolutely gorgeous here. Really early in the morning on the Saturday. This is right about 8 o'clock. Sun's up, absolutely lovely. Just fed the fish, they're just finishing off their pellets now. So, the blanket weed. Am I going to treat this week or am I not? Well, I think I can hold off for another week, but it's getting to that point. I'll show you in the veg filter in a minute. That's where the problem is. It's starting to choke up in there. The answer filter's picking up a fair bit of it overnight, and it's going about 2 days, and I'm having to drop the water level in the vortex, give the screen a blast off with a pressure washer, because it mats itself right into the mesh. And it just can't clean itself because it's so fibrous and such small particles. Let's give you a quick look at that a minute. So yeah, this one's swinging around and kind of blocks itself up after 2 days, which is a bit of a pain. Doesn't like blanket weed. Everything's going well in the veg. The watercress is off to a start. It's probably nearly doubled in size in the last week, and it should go off like a rocket now, really take off. But I've got a lot of blanket weed in the veg filter, which is a great pity. But I'm managing to hold off for a bit. Let's knock the air off a minute so you can see the fish. The sun's not quite hit the pond yet. Still really early. I've had the one with a growth on its lip netted, and had a look at the carp pox on it. And it's lessening off, but the growth on its lip's no bigger than it was last year. Fish is still feeding well, so I'm actually loath to do anything to it. Water is actually very good this morning. No complaints there. Be doing my water tests in a minute. Tested 2 days ago, everything was spot on. So we'll be testing again just to make sure. I've got the spawning brushes in the pond because fish were looking a little bit frisky yesterday morning. So just in case. I mean, last year was just strange. They read it from about this time of the year and kept at it all the way through the summer, and nothing happened until nearly August. So hopefully they'll be a bit earlier this year. I've been feeding lots. They're eating everything they can. The filters are up to strength. I can chuck in more or less as much food as they'll eat, and they're eating a lot. The 3 small chags, they're absolutely greedy as anything. Remember, do not overfeed your fish. You will just mess your water up. If you can't match it with what your filters can take out, you'll end up with all sorts of problems. Your water quality will go down, and then you'll be in trouble. So don't overfeed them if your filters can't take it. I'm probably strong enough here on my filters to handle more or less anything. The nitrate is still slightly up, but the watercress, once that starts going, we're able to do that. At the moment I've got no trouble with protein on the surface of the pond, even with the amount of food I'm putting in. The skimmers for popping away here, that chews it up, and the time it goes through the filters, that seems to disappear. Now here's the fish centre with the growth on its lip and the pox. It's a very social fish, always one of the first ones up to feed, but it's got a big carp pox spot on its head, one on its back and one on the base of its tail at the top. As you can see, the little chag here still got a bit on the tip of its tail, but it is looking half what it was, and they are so greedy. That one's got to be touching 16-17 inches now at least. And I've had that one from 4 inches. I think it must be 3. I had it summer before last, and it was a year old. I'm losing some bits into the skimmer there. They weren't quick enough. The plastic ducks, they do love the plastic ducks. Pellets seem to stick around the edge of them, and they pull them off from around the edges of the ducks. I've got my fake lily pads here. They're a good bit of shade. They'll be going in the pond in a little bit after the sun comes up a bit more. Bonus with a square edged pond like this, you get a bit of shade from the sides anyway, and you don't want your fish to get sunburnt, so give them some shade of some description. Those lilies, they also like poking and playing around with them. Beautiful down here. So this morning I'm just going to be cleaning the filters as per normal. I'm going to do it a day early. It's normally a Sunday that I'll probably do it, but I'm going to do it today on the Saturday. So I've got a busy-ish day tomorrow, and they give the weather to go a little bit more pear-shaped tomorrow. So do it while it's good here. I've probably got in total here well over 200 inches of fish in the pond. Majority of the bigger fish are 20 inches plus, and the majority of the fish in the pond, also all the big ones, are over 10 years old. I've had most of them 10 years. All the fish in the pond have been brought up from babies. I've never bought a fish over 4 inches long. It's gorgeous down here today. Haven't seen hide nor hair of the fry in the veg filter. They're all disappearing. I'm hoping next week to be able to get into school and make the last of the trays, so I can get this river crest filter going. The nitrates are running at higher than tap level. Here it's still very low. Most people will be well happy with it, but normally my nitrates are lower than the tap water. I've got quite hard water down here, but I don't suffer with pH and KH swings. Just a nice morning down here to enjoy the fish with a cup of coffee. Sun's just starting to strike the pond now. Hopefully today we'll be having a good day on the solar. Full day of sunshine. Ooh, might even make 50 pence out of it today. You never know your luck. So, hopefully we can go another week without the clover leaf. I don't want to put it in because it kills off all the green stuff on the side of the pond as well, and that's a good bio bed for what's going on with the ecosystem in the pond. To kill that off, I only have the bio in the filters. Typical pillow. Put the spawning brushes in, and no action this morning. No action in the night. I can usually hear them down here if they're at it, but none of that. I might have to do some chopping with this Nimbulus soon. It's starting to get out of hand there, but then that's sucking nitrates, so all the better. Right. So, as I've been saying, don't overfeed your fish. You send your water sideways very quickly. I know they're hungry and they want feeding, but don't give them too much. You've got to keep pace with your filters. You want to be able to give them enough food to keep them happy, but also not overload your filters. Your filters take a while to build up unless you're really over filtered. The bio takes time to grow and the mass, and it's slow ramp up to the maximum amount of food. But mine's gone up quite quick this year, but I have got a lot of bio in the moving beds and the fixed beds, so I'm not overly surprised that it's gone up that quick. But I'm keeping a good eye on the water parameters, testing 2 times a week, because I don't want to get a spring and a bounce in it. So I'm doing that, and they're enjoying their food. So hopefully we'll get a good bit of growing on this summer, and I'll get some good size on the smaller chags. The way they're eating, I'm sure I will. And hopefully I won't have to use the clover leaf, but we're getting damn close. I don't want to lose sight of the fish for a couple of days while all that's gone all milky in the pond. Plus also it blackens the kind of part of the pond. Looks nice with a nice green layer over the side of it, as long as it isn't too long. Anyway, that's enough of me mambling on. Haven't done a lot this week, so it's really just an update. Hopefully we got some work on the trays next week. We'll get that done. I'll get the trays in and fitted. I've enjoyed watching what James has got planned for his filter along the back of his pond. That's looking really good. Can't wait to see that. To all the new subscribers that tuned in, we got lots of things coming up. We're going to be playing around with this and playing around with that. Basically all things ponding, how to look after your fish. I'll try and pass on a few of the tips that I've picked up over the years. So, from down here in Devon, on this beautiful sunny bank holiday weekend, bye for now. Enjoy your ponding. Hope everything goes good for you this summer. Catch you later.